Hi, everybody, friends and family, chosen family, watchers, lurkers, newcomers, everybody. Welcome back for me. Welcome me back because I am now, again, what they call a newcomer in sobriety because I have less than 30 days. So I reached a milestone I had never reached before, 9 months off of every mind altering substance. I had never gone that long. I had always used marijuana as a backup, gotten sober for a few years at a time off of everything else. Alcohol was my main thing for many years. It destroyed me. Three suicide attempts. Um, Lots of stories. I was a blackout drinker. It was really bad. So, I finally got help in 2014 after jumping out of a third story window. um, Changed my life. But I had like lapses here and there, and I always had weed as my backup. Then at 41, I tried meth, and that was a few years back. And I tried it because I was drunk. Otherwise, I would have never smoked meth. That just no. I've been in recovery for way too long. I've seen the damage that it does so quickly, how addictive it is, how it just destroys people's lives, bodily, mentally, and then just everybody around them suffers too, and they become different people, aggressive and liars and thieves and stuff just to feed their habit because it's such a powerful drug. And I used to kind of look down on those people and be like, well, at least I'm not that bad. And I'm never like I'm never the kind of person to judge other people and their journey, but I think I think in alcoholism I was trying to kind of compensate because I hated myself, and so I think we sometimes when we have self hatred, we will compensate by looking down at other people who are worse off than us to make ourselves feel better. And I know that I did that until I actually experienced the addiction of meth myself. Now, meth is what brought me to my knees. I had just relapse after relapse for 3 years. I never became an everyday user, but I did go on a couple of sprees. I had meth toxicity and overdose 3 times in 2021. December was the turning point. That's when I started having heart problems. And that's when I had a spiritual shift because I had spent so many years wanting to die. Just so many years, so depressed. I have bipolar, PTSD, um, that I just didn't want to be on this planet and feeling suicidal. And I'd been in and out of hospitals, psych wards, for many years, trying different cocktails of medicines and always going back to marijuana because that was like easier than taking 12 different pills and trying new things all the time. And I don't trust big pharma. That's another thing. So anyway, my journey's been long getting here, but yeah, there's a lot to share, but I can't share everything in one video. I don't want to overwhelm you, and that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is to give a little backstory and then to let you know about relapse and how maybe you can handle it. For me, I go to 12-step programs. I also, since I'm dual diagnosis, I'm in therapy. I have a psychiatrist that prescribes medication. I take my medication as prescribed. I have physical problems as well. I have scoliosis and chronic fatigue, chronic pain issues, just functioning, physically. I get sick a lot. Something's always been wrong ever since I was a kid. I got sick a lot as a kid. As a teenager, had horrible back pain, and finally found out in sobriety last year because I started to take care of these other things. that I had scoliosis. So that kind of explained the extreme back pain that had been a mystery for years and doctors had just written off. I finally got validation that it wasn't just all in my head. They said I had fibromyalgia, and I'm not going to say if it's real or not, but it's not testable. And the pills that they gave me for it did not help at all with my energy levels or my pain. So I know I don't have fibromyalgia. And, I'm going to do a sleep study because I think it's possible that I have sleep apnea. That's one step in my journey too. But my point is that I last year had a spiritual shift and a mental shift because that wanting to die and then coming close to death, actually having like some sort of heart issue. They don't say it was a heart attack, but it looked like a heart attack in the ambulance, and having just chest pain for months and months. I thought I was going to die every day last year from January to April. Every day of my life, I thought I was going to die. Chest pain, chest pain, chest pain. And it's returned recently, and I think it's due to stress. Um, they say that it's probably panic attacks and possibly after effects of the meth. Meth can cause these things like spasms around the heart, and it can cause heart failure. I could be an early stage heart failure, but hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully it's spasms, after effects, and mostly just the PTSD being triggered again. So anyhow, I got sober off of everything, even the marijuana. And that was last year on my birthday, a very special day. 4/22/22 was my sobriety date, and I turned 44 that day. Tell me that's not the universe lining up all those numbers trying to tell me something. And I had that shift, like I said. When I realized I was afraid to die and not ready to die, I said, well, then what do I need to do? And I started doing everything. So I took on the physical health, the mental health, and then the addiction aspect as well. And I was doing everything they say to do in the program. I had commitments, service commitments, so I'm helping others. I had a sponsee, I had a sponsor who was taking me through the steps, and going to meetings on a regular basis every week, several times a week. Um, and using my coping skills for my mental health, um, getting injections for my back pain to ease that, um, doing everything. In the morning I had a routine. I would meditate and then I would write a gratitude journal and read out of the big book of AA. And that really helped me get my day started in the right mindset. And I really kind of felt invincible. And maybe that's part of why I had a slip recently. So I had a slip on the 24th. And so I have a new sobriety date, and it's January 26th. So I am just over 10 days sober right now. Um, and for a couple of days, I beat myself up really badly. I was in shame, I was in guilt, I was in befuddlement, just not understanding how could I be doing everything and this addiction still kicked in. Now I've realized, and I will not go into detail, um, but I've realized why I had that relapse. See, I isolated for many, many years because of my PTSD. I'm very afraid of people, getting close to people, and trusting people. And so I was alone for many, many years without friends. And then in recovery, I started to meet people, network a little bit, but I kept everybody at a distance, except for a small little group. Now, most of that group fell apart because of gossip and stupid stuff. I lost friends over stupid stuff. And I had one person that I was really, really attached to. They were a gentle and kind soul, and I started to trust them with everything. I gave them all my information about my trauma, and that ended up being used as ammunition against me one night. And actually, over the course of a couple of months. And it's only because that person also had a meth issue and had relapsed, and it changes you. He became aggressive, he became mean, um, tried to hurt me with his words, and it worked. And one night, when it all fell apart and I lost him as a sponsee and a friend, I wanted to kill myself. And even though I reached out and talked to people, it only helped for so long. A couple hours after talking to people, it was the middle of the night, couldn't reach anybody, and it was like, I'm gonna drink or I'm gonna off myself because I feel like that old trauma has been triggered of rejection and abandonment and verbal abuse. Like all my core issues were triggered by this event. And what I realized is I'm codependent. And so codependency will make you avoid or cling, and I've done both in my life. This time around, I was clinging, and I was not giving myself, you know, I really wasn't giving myself a chance by making other friends. I was putting all of my energy into this one person. And that is why I relapsed. Not because I wasn't doing enough in my program and my recovery and all aspects of it. Even sharing my journey was helping. Um, so I found there's another layer to the onion. And I can't beat myself up about who I am, my past, and what it's made me, and what I need to fix. All I can do is look at what I need to fix, learn from the relapse, and move on. It's now in the past. That magic number is still magic to me. That's the day, my birthday last year, that's the day everything changed. And that's my recovery date. But I have a new sobriety date because I wasn't sober for 14 hours at one point recently. So, if you're struggling with relapse, please just pick yourself and get back on the path moving forward. As long as you're moving forward and you keep going back to whatever form of recovery that helps you, just keep going back no matter how many times you relapse, no matter how bad you feel. We need connection and we need help. This is a disease. It's a disease of the brain, and I believe it's also a disease of the mind and the spirit. And I believe you have to take care of all of that in order to stay sober. And even then, we're not guaranteed. We have one day at a time, and sometimes stuff just happens. People lose sobriety, they get sober and stay sober for 9 years, 15 years, and they relapse, and it's just wild. It's wild how that can happen. And that's how strong addiction is. So just know, please know, if you're going through a lapse or a slip or chronic relapse, like I was for many years, don't beat yourself up. That's not going to help. Don't. You are a worthy human being. There's a reason why you're still alive. If you're still alive, put your heart on your chest. You feel that beating? You feel that pumping of the blood? That's a purpose. You have a purpose in this life, even if you haven't found it yet. Stay strong. Keep moving forward. Forgive yourself. Be gentle with yourself. Be patient with yourself. Take accountability. Take responsibility for your own actions. But know it's a devastating disease, and it's very powerful. And even the strongest of us get taken out. So please don't give up on yourself. Too many people are dying right now. You don't need to be the next. Until next time, friends, stay bright and shining.